Well, let's go over the post-patch tactics. I want to give you a bit of an update of the top tactics right now. Also, what I'm using and how the patch will influence gameplay. The first one I want to go over is the 4-4-1-1. You're seeing a lot of it being used on a professional scene as well. I still think it's very good. It's probably still a top 3. I mean, I know we wanted to shift away from the specific formations, but there's no doubt I think 4-4-1-1 is up there, top 3. Pro players are using it. I think it's very effective. What you're seeing now with goalkeeper movement being nerfed is people are playing a bit more defensive. And what I mean by that is they're probably committing less players going forward because they don't have that goalkeeper as that fail-safe, that last-minute ditch option to help them. I'd probably recommend, if you are going to do this, definitely go with something like a holding or a deep line playmaker defend, and then both inside 4 for both the left wing and the right wing. And that is basically it. I'd only recommend 4 backs on balanced if you're very good attacking wise. And then what's going on with terms of the depth, you're talking about 60 is probably still the way to go. I don't think depth is being changed at all. And the build-up style is in counter. Are you sick and tired of losing FC26? Do you want to win more games? Well, you can come to my FC26 school series. Now, don't forget, we also have a Black Friday offer. That's 20% off. Enter the code Friday at checkout for 20% off. And don't forget, let's say even with 20% off, if you don't get better, we will refund your money after 1 month. Think about how much time you wasted going through YouTube videos. And you see, even on my YouTube channel, everything's a bit of a random order. But in an FC school, everything is in a structured format where you learn one thing and it progresses. So whether you're an elite player, a Division 10 player, or you never played this game before, you will learn something. We've got everything from the basics, the novices of gameplay, all the way to the pro stuff, the meta mechanics, what all the pro players are using, how they're using those through balls. For example, we've got a video on the through balls. We've got videos on first time shots. All of this before it became the meta. We went through all of this, and you can learn this right now to improve your gameplay. Now, not only are you saving your own time, you're also saving your money. For less than the price of a Nando's meal nowadays, think about this. How much money have you spent on FP points? Has a team made you better? We show you how to be good with the most basic and cheapest teams, because that's all you need. That is why pros are using players like Peanut. It's the most effective players inside the game. You only spend any more money on FP points. You just need to learn how to play the game. Links down below in the description. Don't forget, enter the code Friday for 20% off. And if you don't get better after 1 month, we will refund your money. So Neil Guys guarantee. Links down below in the description. Patreon.com/Neil Guys. I probably, out of like the real meta formations, I think I probably play this one kind of like one of the most, if I had to choose one of the meta formations. And whether I like it or not, unfortunately, that is the meta way of playing. It doesn't mean I play it all the time, but let's say I'm in the elite division, or let's say I'm tryharding, I'm definitely going towards a 4-4-1-1. You can even consider a shadow striker on that cam. Now, a second formation, unfortunately, I don't want to talk about it, but we just have to. I mean, I'll be lying to you if I was trying to pretend that there's another formation. Remember, it's not the 4-5-1 attack. Never get that confused. It's the 4-5-1 flat. Now, there's multiple different ways. Some people like Manu Bashir, they play one of them on a wing or one of them on inside forward. But I think for most people watching this, remember, you're going to have to fine tune this for yourself. Either put 2 on box to box, or at least one of them on a playmaker and 1 box to box. That way you have kind of 2 different attacking styles. Go invert inside forward on both. And this, unfortunately, would still be the meta. I think this is the good, appropriate medium. A lot of people just aimlessly, I mean, without a brain, they just copy the tactics and then they say, why does it not work? Just because Anders may do something like this, playmaker, as an example, and they'll put their center mid, for example, on a box-to-box, do not do that. You are not Anders. So I would say definitely at least the middle player, deep line playmaker, defend. The left center mid, right center mid, I would just say put both of them on box to box, or one on playmaker and one on box to box. It depends how attacking you want to be. Now, do I actually use this formation? I don't. Like, historically speaking, like you remember the 5-4-1 when it was really meta last year and the year before? I just flat out refuse to use this. And same, I don't use the 4-5-1. If that means that I lose that game and I don't get the 50-0, I don't care, because I want to have fun playing my way. If I wanted to win so badly, do you not think I'll be doing rainbow flicks into overhead kicks? I think people just think content creators, you know, people like me, they think they're desperate. It's not that deep. I study the game the entire day when I want to play for fun. Do you think I really want to play a 4-5-1? So I think this is probably number 1 here. Whether we like it or not, I think, well, actually technically number 2. So I'll move the 4-4-1-1 to number 3. I think that's the third best. I think the second best is the 451 right now. And the real, so if you want to copy the code, that is it there. Same thing here. I would say you go with counter or you can go with balanced, but go with a 60 depth as well. And whether I like it or not, I don't like to use this formation, but it's still up there. But the question is, what topples this? The 4-4-2 flat is actually a very good formation as well. It's a bit more of a high level formation. If you are going to play this, make sure you have one player on. I'll be honest, if you're going to try the 4-4-2 for the first time, consider putting one of these players on hold. You might be thinking, well, why am I suggesting that? The problem is, if your center mid, one of them's on defend and one of them goes forward, when you have the ball outside the box, if you don't know how to maneuver the ball, you will find you'll have no passing options. How many times you've played in a 4-4-2 and when you're trying to rotate the ball when someone is parking the bus, you haven't got that option. So I would only say use something like this. This is what I would kind of go with here. And I would say go advance forward, and I'll go with one with poacher like this. That's the way that I would run it, like this. And I'll put like fullback like this. And like this, by the way, if you want to do this formation over here. And that way you got a very good 4-4-2. At least you've got one player staying back and two attacking movements. Hopefully you've done some good evos. Now, number one, what do I think it is? I think you will see this a bit less on the professional scene, if that makes sense, because they don't really need that CDM. But I think time will tell. You would see the 4-4-1-1. In my opinion, I think, okay, so this is my opinion. I think people don't understand how patches affect things in terms of gameplay indirectly. With goalkeeper movement being nerfed, what that means is someone who relied on goalkeeper movement, let's say they were bad at defending, they're not going to be able to get away with what they once would have. So they're actually going to play more defensive. I know this would mean that you will score more goals, but someone who leaks defensively, they're going to struggle. So what they're naturally going to do, they're going to play even more defensive. So you'll see something like this, a 4-4-1-1. I think they'll even bring back the rise of the 4-2-1-3, because to be honest, it is still a great formation. And people are saying, oh, has this formation fallen off? Listen, this fallen off, like what are people talking about? How can a formation fall off? Does the popularity of this formation decrease significantly? I think yes. But to be honest, look, I'm going to be honest here. I can imagine someone doing some sort of deep line playmaker defend for both of them. Forget box crasher, 2 deep line playmaker defends. And I can imagine people who are really struggling with this going back to a system like this and maybe even going with a shadow strike on the cam, because this is basically a 4-4-1-1 if you think about it, just with CDMs as opposed to center mids that sit higher up the pitch. So this is the problem with these patches. Although people think in theory, yes, you will score more goals. And I think the patch was due. I think goalkeeper movement needed to be nerfed. I don't think it should have been this dramatic. That's another thing altogether. But I think they went a bit too much. One thing I'd probably say is you could probably go with your goalkeeper now, probably on sweeper keeper. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I just got Schmeichel because I wanted to test the new, when a goalkeeper catches a ball, they can throw it faster, the transition speed after the patch. But I think sweeper keeper is probably the one to go with now. I think with goalkeeper movement lacking, I think we bring in a goalkeeper a bit more and running back with just CDMs and playing a bit defensive. So unfortunately, I think this probably creeps into the top 5 per se. If you wanted to put it, I'll put this at number 5. And I'll put the 4-4-2 at number 4. You could argue the 4-4-2 is probably one of the best formations in the game if you're a top tier player. But the chance of you're watching this video, you're not an elite plus or a pro player, therefore 4-4-2. People say, oh, pros don't use 4-4-2. They do. If you even watch the pro scene, they change. They might use the 4-5-1 for the majority of the game, but if they're in a losing state, or let's say they want to apply pressure or they feel they need 2 strikers, they're using a 4-4-2, something just to bear in mind. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget as well, we still have the 20% off. So when you're watching this video now, we're going to have it for one more week, 20% off my FC26 score. If you want to get better at FC26, don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. We've got the meta mechanics. Let's just say you want to learn the meta mechanics of the game. We have all the meta mechanics that all the top tier players and the pro players are using. These are the key mechanics that can probably elevate you from like maybe a rank 4, rank 5 player to that rank 3, and if you're good enough, even to that rank 2 and a rank 1. These are all the pro things inside the game. They have the FC school. Let's see, you're struggling to defend, struggling to attack. In a structured format where each video builds upon the previous one, we've got a default, it starts from defending, how not to lose the ball, and we go through all the videos systematically, tracking back, defending. So if you're struggling with defending, especially post-patch, this will help you, the FC26 score. And we have gameplay tips, we have gameplay analysis, we talk about Anders. We have a 3-part, it's like an hour and a half long video. Anders, how he attacks, how he defends, deception, Anders versus text, pro game analysis, and other gameplay analysis as well. And of course, we've got real life football examples. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, we will refund your minus nil guides guarantee, and you get 20% off for this Black Friday. Enter the code Friday at checkout for 20% off. Links down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace.